Show my face. Yeah. So this is the link which I have sent you for the Guru Purnima program, and it's basically going to be a 4-week program. Okay, and the first week will be starting from Guru Purnima, which is July 5th, and that particular whole week will be a brush up sort of a thing for all those who are either new rank beginners or somewhere between the lines advanced beginners as well, because there are a lot of secrets which we are going to talk about it, and then we are going to take a little break, so those who are rank beginners can sort of get back their breath, understand what has been taught, and then 3 weeks of grinding starting 16th of August. So that's going to be the program, and I've already shared the link. And a lot of people have already joined, and in fact, after Guru Purnima, we'll be raising the cost as well. So currently, it's priced at only $199, and it will go up a little, right? So that is one thing I wanted to talk about. The second webinar would be, see, the whole plan is to have webinars at the last Sunday of every month. Okay, the free webinar part of it. So the next webinar I'm planning would be around, I think, 26th of July. And there is one more webinar which I'm going to do for Vastu, but that I'm doing for a UK company. So that would be around, if that is on 26th of July, then I'll do our webinar on the 2nd of August. The topic would be gemstones, the one that has already been selected last time we discussed. Okay, so it's going to be on the gemstones, the effect of gemstones, and it's going to be a wonderful topic and something very, very new for you all to understand as well, in terms of how important gemstones are and how to wear them, and which are the ones which are for the lifetime. And by the end of the session, you will get an idea in terms of how irrelevant or how useless technically the navgrahas that most of you wear is, because wearing the navagrahas or wearing those the ones where most of the people wear is a ring which is especially very famous among the South Indians, where other, instead of one ring, they wear something which has got all the 9 grahas. And frankly speaking, it's like a multivitamin tablet, right? So if you have a deficiency for vitamin C, you rather take a tablet for vitamin C. So concepts like that we are going to talk about with multiple examples. So let me see, I'll come back within a week, follow up on my Facebook page actually, or LinkedIn page, and I'll be able to get a clarity in about a week's time. Okay, so there is about 5 minutes left. It's about 3 minutes left. So what we would do is, for those of you actually who are, most of you I see are there in the parampara itself. So what we can do is we can do something called as our Guru Mantra, which is a simple mantra called Om Gurave Namah. Okay, so technically we'll fold the hands, okay, like we all do, close our eyes, and we will repeat a mantra called Om Gurave Namah. It will not be Namaha, it will be Namah. Okay, let's do it 12 times, and by that time it will be 8 p.m. anyways. Okay. Om Gurave Namah. 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 Vishnu, Vishnu, Vishnu. Okay, perfect. So most of you are there. It's quite a good turnout. I think we are 8 o'clock and let's start with the slides. Perfect. Okay. So what I will request each one of you, like while we are going to do our slides, kindly don't sort of keep chatting and keep talking, because that's going to actually hamper a lot of my flow, right? Constantly, if there is somebody who needs help, and then one of you can help them, then probably just send a personal message to them or something like that. But don't constantly chat, constantly don't keep the chat sort of busy, because it constantly gives me prompts and that sort of irritates the whole flow and thing into it. Okay, so what we are going to understand today, it's already time up, so those who are supposed to be here should be there, right? Okay, so the topic today is going to be on eclipse. I will sort of let go of my video. Each one of you has seen me, so let's start with the eclipse part. Okay, so the topic today is going to be on eclipse, the effect of eclipse, and the impact and the remedies. Okay, now the way I have learned Jyotish, frankly speaking, everything has to have a reasoning, every impact has to have a reasoning, and every impact has to have the remedies. Is as simple as that, right? So there is no big deal in saying that, hey, you have a problem, but then what's the solution? Hey, I don't know the solution, or I didn't learn the solution. That's not going to help either, right? So we are going to talk about the remedies, some basic remedies, some simple remedies that you can do, but more importantly, we are going to understand the impact, understand whether it's a bubble, because there are certain things in Vedic astrology or generally astrologers, they really scare you with their own fundamentals, right? How much has Kala Sarpa Yoga or Saturn or Rahu or Sadesati been in your mind? Every other astrologer you go and they will tell you that, hey, you have a Kala Sarpa. And then there will be various pujas asked to be done, etc., etc. Sometimes a Sarpa Yoga can actually help you, right? Because when you have a Sarpa Yoga, technically it means that you are going to have an endless mission. It's almost like somebody who is unstable, and it's always a crown of a king which is always heavy, right? The crown of the king, or the head of the king, sorry, is always heavy. And a Sarpa Yoga to that level is that heaviness. So how is it completely bad? Yes, if you're a normal people or a normal person, definitely, you want to live your life normal 9 to 6, then definitely you want everything fine. But if you're a high achiever or having a worldview or somebody who is relevant to the world, then technically there are some Dura yogas or some malefic yogas which make you a little more challenging, which help you strive a little harder. So that is something which is very, very important for each one of us to understand, that, hey, if there is a malefic yoga, if there is a Dura yoga, it doesn't mean necessarily that it's very bad. How many times have I consulted my clients and told them that, hey, there is a Sadesati which is starting in about 3 months' time, and that Sadesati is going to be fantastic for you. Why? Because sometimes we as an individual become very satisfied with the life that we are living. We are in our own cocoon, and we are sort of not happy for the change, even if the change is very good. And then there is something that has to happen. Literally, we have to be kicked out of our comfort zone. And then we find out that, hey, I'm good at doing this. Why did I not attempt to do it for last 10 years? Right? So many of you are now having time, probably due to COVID, etc. I know so many of you who have been messaging me, who have started learning Jyotish, and now they are finding it that, hey, it's so interesting. And they never did that before. So technically, the good impact of the COVID situation or the Sarpa Yoga or Kala Sarpa, which is currently happening in the whole sort of a transit system, is actually working favorable to you, at least in some sense. But then there is an economic sort of a fallout. There is another implication which is there, but not everybody is losing money. I know many of my friends and colleagues and clients who are still doing pretty okay even during this lockdown period. I know a lot of hoteliers who are doing exceedingly well. Rather, their sales have gone up 20% because there are more people ordering via Zomato and other apps, and their business has gone up. So, what I mean to say is that in every adversity, there is opportunity. And whenever there is an impact, the impact doesn't need to be negative always. Right? I've last week talked about something called as Viparit Raj Yoga, which technically means that, hey, you are going to get gains purely because somebody is going to have a loss. Right? For example, somebody losing their job and somebody else being promoted, or somebody else being promoted at your cost. In that case, the other person has a Viparit Raj Yoga and you are the collateral damage. Okay, so what I'm trying to achieve with my opening statement is that when you learn Jyotish, you have to have an open mind, and you cannot sort of brush up any particular yoga as completely good and completely bad. Even in goodness, there is something bad. Even when there is something bad, there is something good associated with it. Right? So, with this sort of a mindset, we are going to talk about the eclipse part of it. And we are going to currently today, as a step one for understanding eclipse, we are going to focus on three major aspects of eclipse. The concept. Okay, a lot of time people don't know concept and they keep talking about grahana and everything. So what is the concept of an eclipse? How did it start, and do we have a sort of a reference point to it? Yeah, so that is very, very important for me, because from the reference points or from those sort of stories or the mythological studies that are there, from there is a message between the lines. And a lot of time the rishis were very smart. They talked about a story that, hey, understand the Amrut Manthana. And we don't know, are we just supposed to read that? Or is there something more that they are hinting at? So we'll talk about it and we'll touch upon it a little more. The second part is the impact. And we are going to focus, frankly, between 2020 and 21. I made a lot of other slides going into the World Trade Center, the what the Osama bin Laden did and the Twin Towers fall, but then I thought that, hey, that will make the session almost 2-3 hours. So I have sort of focused in terms of what is in store and how do we look into two major sort of the solar and the lunar eclipse, which have one which has just passed by, the solar one, and the lunar one, which is just going to come. And then the remedies and obviously the example charts, etc. So we are going to do all that today. So I will need just an hour with you all, and take your notes. I might give you the access to this or no, but nonetheless, please make your notes. Okay. Now, so what is eclipse? So this reading part, frankly, you can read it. I'm going to tell you technically what is not there in the slide. Okay. Now, eclipse, in a layman's term, we call it as grahana, right? And where does grahana come from? Grahana comes from a word called graha, which is your planet. So, what is getting grahana, or who is giving you graha? It is the planet itself. So, in your horoscope, technically, every planet is like an eclipse. So you thought that technically you are having a great Raj Yoga. You thought that, hey, the Mercedes Benz that you have just in your lobby, or the beautiful villa or the gardens that you have, is actually a barometer of your Raj Yoga. The fact of the matter is that all these things are actually eclipsing us. Why? Because a certain graha has given it to us. Right? So, same way, an eclipse is technically a bigger sort of an event of a graha getting damaged or affected or affiliated, so to say. And how does it come from, and where does it come from? The story is around the Amrita Manthana. We all know about this Meru, and there was the Devas and the Danavas, and they were churning the ocean, and then there were a lot of things which came out, right? Including the poison, which was ultimately taken by Mahadev himself, and hence he is called as Nilakantha, right? But to add to that, what it means is that, hey, during this Amrita Manthana, there was also nectar which was produced. And Vishnu understood that, hey, if I give this nectar to the Danavas, they are really going to rule the roost, and the Kali Yuga is going to be really, really tough to handle. So it started giving the nectar only to the Devas. And finally, Rahu and Ketu were the one who spotted it, and they were basically split into two. And hence, Rahu is the one who has no body, and Ketu is the one who has no head. As a result of which, Ketu doesn't have a Graha Drishti. Okay, these are all the higher concepts. But what I mean to say is you need to understand the roots of eclipse. So once that was done, obviously the nodes which were formed in the form of Rahu and Ketu, they decided that, hey, we are going to eclipse the sun and the moon. What does it mean? It technically means that the sun is the one who is the giver of all the Raj Yogas. Right? They say that every Raj Yoga is started by Surya and sustained by Chandra. At the same time, the sun and the moon are the reason for our birth. We are only born because of our relationship between the father, which is the sun, and mother, which is moon. Correct? And without that relationship, definitely we couldn't have been born unless you are an Avatara. Correct? And that relationship between the sun and the moon is called as Tithi, the angle between the sun and the moon. And that Tithi causes a birth. And that is the relationship which we come in this world with, and hence we are born in a certain Tithi, and the Tithi Lord becomes such an important part of our Panchanga and relationship. So we need to understand that, hey, what does eclipse do? Eclipse to large extent is the one who is either damaging the sun, which is called as the solar eclipse, or the moon, which is the lunar eclipse, as a result of which either our ego or emotion or our body or our mind is afflicted. Afflicted by whom? By the nodes. Who are the nodes? Nodes are the one who either don't have a head or don't have a body, as a result of which we are basically creating ghosts within our mind, which come in the form of our thought process. Right? 99% of cases of depression or suicidal mentalities are all because they create a mountain out of a molehill. Right? Especially those of you who have a node or a Rahu or Ketu, especially Rahu, associated with your Navamsha Lagna, would know that the amount of problem they create for themselves by overthinking. So what does it mean? They have a perpetual sort of an eclipse going on. So what happens during that eclipse is that one of the node is going to say that, hey, I am going to either damage your sun which can be either from a political perspective, a politician can lose a government while the other politician can gain the government. So is it a all loss sort of a scenario? Absolutely no. Because there is one person who is losing the government, but then there is another politician who is very happy because he is making the government. Right? Moon is more about your emotions, more about your health also, right? Longevity, etc. So we are going to talk about it in detail, and more importantly, what does this sun and the moon have to do with the eclipse part of it? Okay. Now, what does the eclipse do? This is very important. See, generally, in one word, what eclipse does is basically it causes a shadow, right? I'm not going to get into the representation and the diagrammatic illustration, so to say. But everybody knows, with whatever little they know, that whenever an eclipse happens, there is always a shadow which is formed, right? And that shadow is represented by Shani. And Shani is the one planet which is causing the impurity and chaos rather. Shani is the one who is representing that impurity and creating a chaos purely because that eclipse has an ability to masterly torment you at a mind level. As a result of which people who are anyways prone to negative thinking really go through that huge problem throughout that week. That is one part of it. Also, it means that, hey, to a large extent, whenever an eclipse is there, it creates an impurity. Very interesting. So impurity at a mind level and impurity at a body level. So when impurity happens at a body level, it is associated with your lagna, right? And lagna is the giver of your health and intelligence. Whereas whenever moon is associated or the impurity is happening at a mind level, technically your Chandra is getting afflicted, as a result of which you start having very negative thoughts. Especially in today's time, I do back-to-back consultations, and every third consultation I have somebody who will be asking me, Karthik, I'm getting very, very negative thoughts. I get this suicidal mentalities. I feel everything is over. I feel like it's doomsday. Will I go to jail? Will I happen this? What is happening is that this particular Kala Sarpa or the transits or the eclipse which has just happened is causing a severe damage to you in terms of your lagna, body level, where you are ready to destroy your body. Right? What happens when you do a suicide? Technically, your soul does not have a body to stay in, as a result of which it's a suicide. Right? Whereas depression is something, where Shani is completely captured your mind, as a result of which you can't think anything good. Everything is negative. Everything is pessimistic. Everything is like as if today is the last day and everything is gone. That ability to fight, ability to bounce back completely goes away. So to that level, we understand that, hey, eclipse has an ability to boost a negative situation or level a positive situation. Please underline the two words that I said. It can boost a negative situation and can level a positive situation, which means that great Raj Yoga can actually be leveled and made a normal Raj Yoga, whereas a negative mindset can really be get that fuel which is so required to do a very, very wrong step. So technically what happens is during eclipse, we have to be really careful that neither of that happens, and we sort of create a what do we call a firewall, a firewall around us, and that is very important. A sort of a firewall has to be created around us, and that is very important. And that firewall is going to ensure that we are protected, and the Rahu and the Ketu, which is trying to corrupt our mind, which is trying to create a negative situation for us, doesn't have a chance. Cool? Okay. Now, among all the remedies, we'll be talking about remedies and the specific mantras in the end, but Mahadev, Lord Shiva, has the highest remedy because it helps you remove the impurity of your mind, right? And the body impurity is handled by Vishnu himself. Now, this is a remedy which I feel you should always take care of. For those of you who have consulted me, and when I give you gemstones or a rudraksh to wear, I always tell you to recharge with a specific mantra, Om Namah Shivaya and Om Vishnave Namah every day. And I always say that, hey, Lord Shiva is for your strength and Vishnu is for purity. Right? The same basic remedies is also used for eclipse. So Mahadev or Om Namah Shivaya as a simple mantra is something which will ensure that your mind stays strong. Whereas Om Vishnave Namah or simple Om Vishnu 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 is going to ensure that the purity of body is always there. As a result of which, whenever you take your tablets or medicines, always say Vishnu 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 3 times and then take your medicines. It will always work. It technically means that the poison which the medicine has will be reduced. And you will be able to come out of the injury or whatever you are going through much better. Right? Now, controlling Rahu is the key. Okay, there is a spell check required, but nonetheless, controlling Rahu is the key. And it technically means that your mind needs to be controlled by the optimism of Rahu sometimes. See, what does Rahu do? Rahu is a huge scamster in a negative way. On a positive sense, obviously, it takes you to foreign land and many other things are there. But on a negative side, Rahu is the biggest scamster because it thinks really big, right? And hence he is associated with Ravana, that it has got 9 heads to think. So whenever there is solar eclipse and Rahu is sort of hitting the Surya, to that level your ability to think goes out of the toss, or either you are too optimistic or you are too pessimistic. That balance is missing. See, in a day-to-day life, the key part is the balance part. And that balance is maintained by Surya and Chandra with the help of Jupiter. And Rahu and Ketu are the eccentric part of to it. Ketu to that level makes you highly spiritual. But the same Ketu in a higher octave can make you a fanatic and you can become a jihadi. Right? So like that, you have to understand that the nodes to that level work very differently. And then we will be talking about the advanced remedies too. Okay. And these are the list of the eclipses which are there this year. So there are 2 lunar eclipses which have already happened. Okay. Then we had one on the 21st. There was already one webinar or sort of a talk thing that I did with Siddharth. It's there on YouTube, right? So please go and listen. There I have talked about a lot of eclipses, and definitely I've talked a lot about the Indo-China relationship also. We'll be talking that today as well. And my prediction that China is going to disintegrate in the next 12 to 18 years is my prediction. Okay, 10 to 18 years technically. Okay. And then we have a 5th of July, which is a Guru Purnima. And then there is a lunar eclipse as well on that day. Okay. So that's a fantastic thing which is there. And we'll be talking about this as well. So this too would be our main focus for today. Okay. Once I talk about one solar eclipse, one lunar eclipse, later on you can understand the other 2 lunar and solar eclipse. This is the one to watch out for. I'll be doing a webinar later on, but keep your fingers crossed for this particular eclipse. Okay, and we'll talk about it. So broadly, there are 6 eclipses in 2020, and all 6 are very important. Okay, especially the one which has happened recently is not a good eclipse to happen. And why? Let's discuss it. Okay, now when we talk about an eclipse or a solar or a lunar eclipse, we need to understand that there are certain factors to be understood. Now, when you say there is an eclipse happening in a certain sign or a certain nakshatra, those are the important things to understand. Because when you look at a complete zodiac, you know, a person, who has got nothing to do with the eclipse sign, frankly, has got the least of an impact which is going to happen in his life. But then he might feel that the impact is not there. But what if there are planets in that particular sign? Or what if there are planets in the nakshatra where the eclipse is happening? So, this is the important points that I have mentioned, that the time of eclipse is very important. See, you need to understand where the eclipse is starting. A lot of people talk about the eclipse sign, that hey, the eclipse of solar and lunar was happening between Gemini and Sagittarius. But they don't talk about the rising sign of the eclipse, which is so important, and we'll be talking about it today. Because that is something which matters a lot. What is the rising sign when the eclipse has started? And where does that sign fit vis-a-vis the country's chart or vis-a-vis your chart? Right? The duration is also very important, right? Because an eclipse happening, let's say, for 30 minutes or 1 hour is completely different to an eclipse which is happening for 4 hours. So some of the eclipses are very, very small eclipses. Frankly, you can even ignore them. So these 2 points are very important. Generally, there are 10 types of eclipses, but we will not get deeper into it. But within those eclipses, there are different types. Frankly speaking, these are different shapes of eclipses, based on which technically we decipher what type of impact it will have. Finally, we also talk about the sign and Rashi of the impact. So it is very important to understand the house, sign, Rashi of the impact. We'll be talking about it in the next slide. And obviously the nakshatra, so important, of the sun and moon in matters of solar and lunar eclipse. And then the lagna, sun and the moon of the native. So if you want to have an impact as far as your own chart is concerned, then definitely you need to look at it in your chart. Let's say if you are a Raj Jyotish, or you are at a level which is a little higher than the normal astrologers, and you consult top people, then it is very important to understand the Prime Minister's chart or the King's chart as well. And finally, if you are a big entrepreneur and an impact to a nation is going to impact you, then you need to understand the nation's chart also. And frankly speaking, today we are going to talk more about the nation's chart. The other part can be studied similarly, looking at it in your chart as well. Okay? Now, let us understand the rise and the impact sign. So this is the eclipse of June 21st. Okay. And the eclipse in Dubai started at 7:45:58 seconds. Okay. So what I will do first is I will draw a chart for that particular time and the day when the eclipse has started. Okay, so this was the solar eclipse, if you remember. Okay, it was just few days back. And I got Karka Lagna as the rising sign. This is the same for India as well. India also has got rising sign as Karka. Whereas the eclipse per se was happening in the sign Gemini, which is the 12th house. Okay, and Surya is in Mrigashira Nakshatra, lorded by Mars, which rules military, and the impact is in the 12th house. Okay, We'll be talking about it in the impact in the next house, next chart, when I specifically look at India's chart. But what I mean to say is always look for the axis as well. The 1 and 7 from the rising sign and 1 and 7 from the impact sign. Both become very, very important. Okay. Very important for you to understand. 1 7, see, everything in Jyotish works in an axis, right? It's like, the Trishula of Shiva. The important thing to understand is in which direction is the Trishula facing. So are you facing the edgy part, or are you facing the non-edgy part? That is important. Are you getting the brunt of Shiva, or are you comfortable, or are you being protected? Those are the certain things which are very, very important. Okay. Now some of you might have a question that, hey Karthik, how do we find this rising time? It is very important. There are a lot of websites also, and if you have softwares also, then you can go to the mundane section of the software like a Jehora, etc. And then in that you can do the solar and lunar settings and find out what is the exact, or what is the start point. Or if that's too much for you, then generally you can do some Google sort of a chat or a Google search, and you will find out the start of the eclipse. And you have to find this at the start of the place you were born at. Okay, that is another rider, very important. You should, if you are looking at the impact on you specifically or your client, even if he's staying in USA or wherever, and if he's born, let's say, in India or wherever else, you need to see the impact in the city or the place where he is born, and then look at that impact in his natal chart. So that is very important. Okay, so the rising sign A becomes very important. Here we see it is Cancer. Second, the Lagna rising at your birthplace is always to be checked. So this point number 2 on the slide is very important. The impact sign is the sign where the eclipse is happening. Okay, and the rising sign and the impact is what we need to protect. Okay, so I think most of the points I have already covered, and everything is there on the slide. Plus the nakshatra of Surya, because it's a solar eclipse and it is in Mrigashira nakshatra lorded by Mangal. Now let us look at the understanding the impact in India's chart. On the top right hand corner, I have given this chart of India, and the rising sign is also Karka, Cancer, and the impact sign is Gemini, like we had discussed in the previous chart. It's the same. For India also it is same, though the Lagna, the time was, I think, around 9:30 or something. But it's the same chart basically. Okay. Now, we need to first look at the impact sign and the rising sign. Here we see the rising sign, Karka, is the 3rd house in India's chart. And we already see the 3rd house is a loaded house. Okay. 3rd house, as most of you know, is called as the Parakrama Bhava. Parakrama means the house where you have to fight, or you will be forced to fight, or there is something which is happening as a result of which you have to fight. Okay. There is also Mangal, which is the lord of Mrigashira nakshatra, right? The Surya's nakshatra, which is being impacted. It is already 12th from itself in the 2nd house. So we see that this Mangal, which is the nakshatra lord, and the borders is something which is being sort of triggered immediately around the time of the eclipse. The eclipse was around 21st, and this happened around 18th or 19th is when India and China had a sort of a brawl where India lost, I think, around 20 of its soldiers and China around 45-50, right? So this was first time in many, many years that so many lives were lost in the border region. Okay. Now, why border region? This Mangal is also the 12th lord, which rules the borders in India's case, right? And it is also Taurus Lagna. Taurus is a fixed Lagna. For a fixed Lagna, the ninth lord is the Badhaka. Ninth lord is also in the impact house. The Mrigashira Nakshatra lord is also there in the house of impact. The 12th lord is also in the impact. The Badhakesh is also in the impact house. So here we see that to that level, this solar eclipse has triggered something which is going to have a long-term impact. And those of you who are already registered, let's say for my newsletter, and when I wrote about the Indochina thing on the 15th or the 16th, I was keeping my fingers crossed that everything will be okay till the 20th or 21st, when Mars is going to transit to Meena Rashi. So that is something which I was really keeping my fingers crossed on. But unfortunately, just before that, the problem happened. And Mars was in the sign Aquarius, which is again ruled by Rahu, which is the cause of the eclipse. Okay, but will it be a short thing or a long thing? I suspect it's going to be a little longer than what we feel. So currently the Mars is somewhere in Pisces. I suspect till Mars reaches a Taurus, we might not have a solution, or we might not have sort of an eyeball to eyeball situation will not go down. It might go down for a while, then again it will start. All those things will keep happening. But the trigger that has happened is going to have a deep implications. Very deep implications. And who is going to lose, or who is going to sort of have a major impact? See, from India's perspective, we can say that, hey, it was in a way forced to fight. See, third house is an ability to fight. At the same time, sometimes when you are forced to fight. The rising lagna of an eclipse is something that you will be forced to do, or something you will have to do. That is something which is very, very important. Okay. And the impact is something that, which will be a huge thing. So the second house impact, definitely the economy, or definitely its neighbors, right? Family. So we are also having problems now with Nepal or Bhutan. And we considered them as our family. And suddenly now Nepal says that, hey, there is a part of India which is part of our map. There is a part of thing which Bhutan says that, hey, this is part of us as well. So you see that impact on the family or the fabric, because the second and the third house is impacted. Okay. It is also the seventh lord. Okay. So economy, relationship, all those things definitely has a huge impact. And it is also the 12th lord. So definitely that co-ed situation is also going to be triggered after the solar eclipse. And as I understand, it has already triggered, because I saw that yesterday or today, some 20,000 cases has been registered, and it's the highest surge. But it will come down as well. As the Kalasarpa in transit sort of mellows down, these things will mellow down as well. But when it comes to the border situation, definitely I would be somebody who would be little sort of keeping my fingers crossed, because it could escalate beyond what has happened. Okay. Now, let us look at the same sort of a situation vis-a-vis China. Now for China, if you see here, the rising sign is Virgo, not Cancer. And I have taken one of the chart of Chinese independence for Makara Lagna. There are 2-3 charts, but Makara Lagna is something I feel is more apt. And here we see the 9th house of Bhagya is being impacted, and the 6th house of enemies or growth is so this is the rising sign, Virgo, and Gemini is the impact house. Technically Gemini and Sagittarius as an axis. Okay. So what do you feel when the rising sign is the ninth house and we have got Ketu over there and Surya over there and the sixth lord, which is the house of impact, in the house of rising as well? So what does it mean? See, generally when sixth lord is in the ninth house, we say that, hey, you will have problems with your father or boss. So we can definitely for sure say that, hey, there is going to be a huge sort of a verbal war, or America, which we can say is the one above China, is really going to stand up for India or come up against China, right? Because it is sixth lord. See, from their perspective, their sixth house is also the house of Upachaya, the house of growth. So from China's perspective, they really want to grow and they really want to teach India a lesson. It is sixth house. But what is happening is the contrary. That sixth lord actually has gone to their Bhagya house, as a result of which it is the reverse thing which is happening. The one that tried to sort of bully is the one who is not ready to be bullied and is sitting in the ninth house now of father. So there is a role reversal, as a result of which India is going to get huge sort of validation or huge support from global powers, and they are going to be able to tame China, so to say. And it is the ninth house, it is the Badakesh also. So it is going to be something where China is really going to be very agitated. It thought it would be a cakewalk, but it's not going to be a cakewalk. Now, since they have already started it, it's going to be very tough for them to take back and find a sort of a midway whereby it's a face saver. So I dare say that it's going to be going on for a few more months. Correct? So here on the points that I have raised on the right hand side, the ones in the yellow, is that the ninth lord rising is generally impacting the luck. Okay. Surya and Ketu will impact due to the government. So Sun and Ketu together is generally, the ninth house is called a temple yoga. But since it's a communist country, we can say that, hey, their own institutions or internal pressures will definitely uh, be there on the Chinese government. Probably their own economy will fall down. Surya and Ketu, see, that it technically means that there will be a huge sort of a trade war, and a huge pressure group is going to start at least for the next 6 months. And China is technically going to get a very, very tough time. And I've given you the logic what I feel. Hora Lagna is also there. Hora Lagna is technically your what you like doing. It's something what you value. And that's so from America's chart we can say Hora Lagna in the sixth house means they like to grow, they like to expand. But this particular eclipse has not to that level helped them, because they have taken a decision in the spur of movement. Probably India agitated them by not backing down, but this is something which is going to be a huge problem area for them. Also, this house is sixth and ninth. So India had its impact on the second and the third house, and China is having an impact on the sixth house and the ninth house. So I dare say they are going to make much more enemies than India alone. And as we say, Taiwan, Hong Kong, Vietnam, many, many more countries, almost all their bordering countries except for Pakistan, they are having their own border issues. And I dare say in this next few months, they all are going to stand up. And more importantly, this huge trade war with USA is something which I see coming. The sixth lord in the ninth house and that Mercury getting retrograde is something which is going to be a huge impact for China. Huge, especially financial impact, I dare say. And that is going to create a huge sort of a problem for them. But will they sort of take it lying down? No. Surya is with Ketu, so definitely they will take that trade war with China, with America and other countries also to another level. And in that whole sort of a fight, it's not going to be good for them, frankly. That ninth house of Bhagya, that ninth house of luck is something which is not happening and not helping them in this particular stage of their democracy, or in this stage of their country. The transits are not good at all. Okay, and you can make sort of further observations and all, and definitely as a homework you can keep learning more on it. Okay, and you should draw the charts and keep it in a notebook or something like that, so tomorrow you can also study more impact and start understanding that, hey, this axis lord, there is a planet which is even Rahu, which is there in this axis, and the lord or the dispositor of Rahu is going into the 12th house. And that particular planet is in that axis of where this solar and lunar eclipse is happening. So very, very important. What does that mean? Whereas India had an opposite thing, right? 12th Lord Mars was coming into the second house of impact. So there is something which is a reversal which is happening, where what China thought would happen and what is happening is completely opposite. Or probably they miscalculated the guts of Indian army or the political will, or what Modi can actually do to them as well. And more story is going to happen. I'm keeping my fingers crossed, especially when Mangal is going to reach the last degrees of Pisces, that is called as Gandanta. I'm really keeping my fingers crossed for especially those 1 week, 10 days. Okay? Now, just to understand, let us understand the impact of last solar eclipse, because now we are talking about something that will probably happen. Now, we are not sure it will happen, not happen, but let's see the impact of last solar eclipse. See, last solar eclipse, the rising sign was Aquarius. Okay? This is on the left hand side is the solar eclipse which happened on December 26, 2019. Everybody understands this. And the rising sign at that time was Aquarius. And the impact was happening in Dhanu Rashi, Sagittarius. Now, when we take that into the China's chart, which is Capricorn Lagna, we see that, hey, their second house and 12th house is completely getting damaged and causing a yoga which is called as Bandhana Yoga, which I have highlighted in the red in the slide. So Bandhana Yoga is something where you can't go out. So can we say that whole COVID situation or the whole impact of that solar eclipse? See, an eclipse effect doesn't just start from that particular day. When an eclipse is very, very malefic, the impact generally is around 15 days, 1 month before also. Okay, so this particular eclipse we see is causing a Bandhana Yoga. And here in Lagna, I have shown a stethoscope of a doctor, which is saying that whole of China, or the whole of world because of China, had to go through this situation of a lockdown or a Bandhana Yoga. Later on, that Bandhana Yoga is also helped by the Kala Sarpa, which is happening throughout the world. So here we are validating the impact of a eclipse. One looking from the past and one looking from the present. The present one, which happened just a week back, has already shown its true colors. And the one which happened probably 6-7 months back has also shown its true colors. So now we know that the eclipse chart is very important, especially in the nation's chart. Or shall we say, if you are an organization which has a chart, it becomes very important to see your own organizational chart also. And whether you are able to grow or whether you are not able to grow, or whether there are certain things that you can do within your chart or within your logo, so to say, to ensure that that impact is not there on you. Interesting, right? See, this whole topic is so vast and so sort of interesting that I started making slides, and then I thought that, hey, with this, actually, I can do a proper sort of a 2 months course. But nonetheless, I wanted to sort of give you an understanding and give you a sort of a brief description to it. Okay, so Bandhani Yoga is very important. It's 2 and 12. Believe me, whoever is telling you China's economy will be doing good is talking utter nonsense. The impact of last solar eclipse, the impact of current solar eclipse is huge. They are literally bleeding, so to say. Okay, having an impact on the 2 and 12 house simultaneously with Chandra in the center. See, Chandra is your longevity, right? So between this Bandhana Yoga, between this 2 and 12 houses in China's chart, there is one Chandra which is there. So the impact on that is purely on that Chandra. That Jupiter will try its best, but the fact of the matter is that the impact is too huge to be handled. Okay? Again, that 6 and 12 axis is also very active. There is something about this 6 and 12 axis in China's chart in this last couple of years which has been very, very active. As a result of which they have been very, very active on the borders and that mindset to dominate. Probably they see this as their time to dominate and become world number one and pull down America. They see that as a real opportunity. I don't blame them. It's just the dasha that is pushing them to think like that. Okay? Now, as a homework, what you can do is you can check the impact of lunar eclipse, which happened in January 10th. See, I have been talking about this, God knows since when. The December 2020 started between a solar and lunar eclipse. So there was a lunar eclipse also which happened on January 10th. I want you to do a homework and find out, what was the impact sign and how did it impact on China and India. And later on, you can find out Italy's chart if you can and understand the impact on Italy and Spain, because those were, and England for that matter, and America, because those were the countries which, frankly speaking, had the biggest sort of an impact outside China. Okay, so that would be an interesting homework. Now let us understand a little bit about the lunar eclipse. So this lunar eclipse is on July 5th, which is a Guru Purnima day. Okay, so I've written dear Om Gurave Namah. So it is very important to understand that, hey, on the same day, there is a lunar eclipse happening. At the same time, there is Guru Purnima as well. Okay, and again, the rising sign is Cancer, and the impact sign is Gemini. Whereas in China, the impact sign is again Virgo, and Sajit Dhanu Rashi is going to be the impacted sign, because the particular eclipse is happening on the sign Sagittarius. So it's very important to understand both of this. I'm giving you a simultaneous chart of lunar eclipse, which is going to start approximately around 8:40 a.m. and in China it is at 11:08. So the rising sign is different for both. Okay. It is also in Purvashada Nakshatra, which is Venus. So Venus holds relationship. Okay. So we can say that relationship is something which is going to take a hit, which means that the impact of solar eclipse can again be deteriorating in the lunar eclipse, and India China can actually have a real more deterioration or an eyeball to eyeball situation coming July 5th. See, frankly speaking, till Mars reaches Taurus, I'm going to keep my fingers crossed. Okay, the good thing is that Mercury is breaking the Kala Sarpa Yoga. Okay, the degree to that level over here, I have circled Mercury on the left hand chart. It is breaking the Kala Sarpa Yoga, but frankly speaking, I have kept mentioning that till September 1st, the impact for me is huge, negatively. And post that, situations will start becoming normal, etc., especially from aviation perspective. Okay. But nonetheless, we have to understand that Venus is the primary karaka for relationship, and that Shukra is definitely impacting both India and China, or in that lunar eclipse. Now, what you need to do is just understand that, hey, this is the Lagna, Capricorn is the Lagna. On the right hand side, if you see, Capricorn is the Lagna for China. And the impact again is in the 12th house. Okay, because Dhanu Rashi is the 12th house. And again, the rising sign is the 9th house. So frankly speaking, from China's perspective, they are going to have to cool down a little, because America is going to be in a very, very different mood. Or their neighbors or people around are really going to be in a very, very different mood. And if China doesn't temper down a little, frankly speaking, we can see a bigger escalation as well. Okay? Now, coming to the remedies, I would say that simple remedy is what I have written on the right. Knowledge is an ocean, start swimming. Prima facie, because see, solar and lunar eclipse, ultimately their main agenda is to give you grahana. Technically, eclipse your mind. What happens when we lose our mind? We lose the ability to think. We lose our ability to take the right decision. We lose our ability to do what is right to be doing. Right? So, ultimately, knowledge is the biggest remedy. However, we need to understand that Shiva, in the form of a guru, which is Dattatreya, when it is lunar eclipse, and Dakshinamurti, when it is a solar eclipse, is the perfect remedy when it comes to eclipses. I repeat it. Knowledge is the ultimate remedy. But the specific form of knowledge is Shiva, because Shiva is the Parameshti Guru. In my YouTube video which I uploaded yesterday on Guru Purnima, I've mentioned that why Shiva is associated with the Parameshti Guru. Right? Now, in that two forms of Guru, the lunar form is associated with Dattatreya and the solar form is associated with Dakshinamurti. So if you want to do, let's say, generally I would suggest that people, who are Europeans or people who are not very, very good with their Sanskrit or pronunciation, you can keep repeating the name also. What we call it as Nama Japa. For example, when it is on the Guru Purnima day, which is a lunar eclipse, you can just say Dattatreya, Dattatreya, Dattatreya. Or Dattatreya, Om Namah Dattatreya, Om Namo Bhagavate Dattatreya. Okay? Or there is a specific mantra called Om, Am, Hrim, Hrim, Krom, Ehi, Dattatreya Swaha. Okay? The solar eclipse one is actually a tongue twister. Okay? Because here we see it's a combination of this particular word, Dakshinamurti, Murtir Ratrom. Okay, so you have to understand that is a tongue twister. So if you are not sort of able to say Om Dakshina Murti Ratrom, Dakshina Murti Ratrom. Okay, it is Ratar Rom. So, but at the same time, it's a tongue twister, where you see ra, tar, and om. So that has to be said as one sort of a go. Rata rom, where you have to say all the things together. So if it is sort of a little difficult for you to do, you can just do Dakshinamurte Nama, Dakshinamurte Nama. Simple mantras, or just keep saying Dakshinamurti, Dakshinamurti, or frankly speaking, Om Namah Shivaya. Even better, right? Om Namah Shivaya works brilliantly because ultimately it's all about knowledge. Okay. Now, one of the key things that you have to do is, especially when this lunar eclipse is there and it is coinciding with the Guru Purnima. So learning becomes very important. Lighting a lamp, frankly speaking, this should be done every day. Lighting a lamp is something which is very, very important for you to do. And meditation. See, if you want to ever get into Jyotish or become anything remotely good in Jyotish, frankly speaking, you have to get into your mantras and meditation. Without that, you cannot do it. Okay, and I'll be talking more about it as soon as in the bonus week, which I'm going to start, starting from 5th of July. I'm going to talk about a lot about it in that particular week in terms of which mantras to do, etc. Okay, but lighting of lamp, etc. should be part of everyday life, and lighting your internal and external lamp. Right, internal lamp can be lit by meditation, by the mantras, and the external lamp can be done with a ghee lamp, or nowadays you get even the ready-made lamps also, which you can do. Okay, so these are the remedies part of it. Lastly, I wanted to talk about the 3-week course. Technically, it's a 4-week course. We are starting from Guru Purnima, which is July 5th. All of you have been requesting me to start a structured course. So this is it. Frankly, we have got a very, very good amount of subscription. People have already started because there is a early bird discount of only $199. I've already shared the link, and it would be nice if those of you who anyways want to learn Jyotish, this is something that you shouldn't be missing. If you need any help, WhatsApp on this number which is given. There is a link which has already been shared as well, so you can see everything. And we'll be having a dedicated Facebook group. There will be webinars every day, so technically 6 webinars every week, and it is 4 weeks. So you can look forward to 24 into almost 48 hours of content, and that content is going to be there on Facebook group, only dedicated for those who have subscribed, and it's going to be there for you throughout your journey. Okay, so it's going to be lifetime access to you. So that's it. Join over there. The next sort of a webinar, free webinar, is going to be on gemstones. I've got we had a voting last time, and a gemstone is something which got number 2. So either it will be on July 26th or August 2nd, either of the two. Okay, but nonetheless, I'll keep each one of you subscribed for that. And most of you are there on my Telegram group as well, so I keep sharing stuff over there. I will again share the link, so each one of you who wants to sort of get into the course, etc., can click the link, etc. And China is having big floods as well. So I just heard that from a comment section, and big floods is associated with the Jala Tattva, Cancer. Okay, so very, very important. So we see that the eclipse part is already sort of functioning. Okay, so I've already shared that. Thank you so much for your time. We are going to be in touch for sure, and take care of yourself. And during this period of COVID, be mentally very strong, right? Tough times will go away if you use this time to learn, use this time to build a skill, use this time to think what can be your sort of a passive income, parallel income, which you can probably grow over a period of 1 year, 2 year, put in a bit of effort, and later on do it. And this is a time. In every adversity there is opportunity. I'm a very, very positive thinker, and thank you so much. We'll be in touch. Namah Shivaya.